Hello, I'm Colin Bradley. For many years now, I've been receiving emails from people asking what pencils do I use? What paper are you working on? Can you fix your picture at the end? How do you sharpen them? Well, the idea of this video clip is to answer all those questions for you. And I'm going to start by showing you the pastel pencils. Now, the boxes of pencils come in at 12, 24, 48 and 60. But this particular one is my favourite because this has got my own special selection inside, and this little red sticker on there tells you that. You can't get it everywhere, but a lot of retailers now do it. Or, of course, you can get them from the SAA, or you can get them through our mail order service. And the other way, of course, they come is individually. You can buy the pencils individually. Now, they're Faber-Castell Pip Pastel pencils, and they're the ones that I recommend, and it's in fact the only ones I use. There are others on the market, but they're nowhere near as good. You can't sharpen them to a fine point, which I'm going to show you later on, the others, but these you can, and they're creamy and very good to use. So they're the pencils. Now, the paper I'm working on is made by Fabriano of Italy, and it's called Ombre. The colour is sand, and the weight of the paper is 160 gram. So it's nice and thick, but not too thick to go through photocopy machines or printers. So it's a very nice paper to use, and I've been using it now for many, many years. The other advantage you have is with the sand colour, it's a very good neutral background. And very often you'll see with the examples that you see on YouTube, you see the colour of the paper actually coming through the subject. So a very good paper, and one that I highly recommend. Now, the problem that a lot of people face is how to sharpen the pencil. Now, I don't really recommend pencil sharpeners because they tend to crack the pencil. When the pencil goes in and you turn it, you can end up with the pencil heads getting stuck in there, and it's very frustrating to lose it. So that's a no-no as far as I'm concerned. You can use also the scalpels or the craft knives, or the very best thing that, or the next best thing would be a Stanley knife, because you can get your hand right behind them and you can get a nice angle on the pencil. So that's what I recommend. But my favourite, of course, is the safety razor blade. Not everybody can get hold of them, but I'm going to show you how I sharpen the pencil with a safety razor blade. First of all, holding the razor blade, I hold it like that between the thumb, and I always put my finger behind it, so I've got complete control. And then it's a question of sharpening. Now, coming right down the lead, you can see what's happening. I'm going right from there all the way down, and once you've exposed enough lead, you can then start to shape it. Now, if I was doing a sky or a block area, I'd leave it like that. There's no point in having a sharp point when you've got to use the pencil for larger, less detailed areas. But if you want a nice sharp point, then you continue with it and twisting the pencil as you go along, and eventually you'll arrive at a nice point. Now, at any point in time here, you can stop. But I'm going to carry on because what I want to do is to show you just how sharp you can make this pencil, like a little needle at the end. And when you get down to there, you've got to be careful because the pressure on that will break it. So I usually turn it around and then I hone it like that. And now I can get that as sharp as I want. Some people use sandpaper blocks to do this with, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that I've always used the razor blade. Now, there we are now. That, folks, is a very sharp pencil. Now, some other tools that you see me use during the making of my video clips. One I don't use very often is the putty eraser. But if I was going to use one, this would be the one I'd use. This is the best that I have on the market. You can break pieces off so you don't use the whole thing. And this is used for just erasing, not rubbing out, but erasing little bits of pastel, or if you want to lighten an area, that's ideal for that. Not used very often. One I use all the time is this. This is a double-ended eraser. One end has got an eraser, a soft eraser. The other end is a hard eraser. So if you had, for instance, you wanted to get a very dark area of pastel off, I'd use that one because it comes off cleaner. If I wanted a lighter area, then I would use the soft eraser. But you'll see that in use a lot in the clips. The other thing you'll see it used a lot is the number 2 colour shaper. It's a chisel end, and it's my particular favourite tool. There are lots of others. There's ones with round ends and sharp ends. I don't like them. I prefer this one. This is fine for me. It always works for me. And lastly, I got the paper blender. Now, these two obviously serve a very similar function, but this one will blend and can overblend if you're not careful. This one can't really overblend, but it doesn't blend enough sometimes. So sometimes you'll need that, sometimes you'll need that. And again, I would explain on the clips what I'm using and why I'm using them. So those are the 4 tools that we do use. Now, next thing I want to talk about is how to present a picture, because a lot of people have this problem. They have a problem, first of all, in once you've finished the picture off, do you fix it? Do you spray it with fixative? And the answer is not really. I don't like doing that because it does dull the picture. If I was to separate this off and spray one half and leave the other half, you'd see immediately the difference. This would be much, much darker here, and the light and the white and the brightness of that would be dull, whereas the piece that hasn't been fixed would be nice and bright. So it's a very good reason for not doing it. But how do you protect it when you finish? Well, I put mine in a plastic sleeve or a food bag. It doesn't matter, as long as you protect it and stop it from smudging, and it'll stay there as long as you want it to. Or you can mount it, or of course, if it's a good picture, you can frame it. Now the other thing is, I always use a board. I put my paper on the board and secure it very, very carefully with masking tape. So it's really stuck on the board nice and tight. I just use an ordinary masking tape for that. And most of the time when I'm filming, I'm working flat on the surface of the table. However, that's not really the ideal position. The ideal position is at a slight angle. And what I've got is I've got a purpose made. It matches, see, look, same material. And what you do here is you can place the board at an angle like that, and you can draw really nicely. And you get a little bit more of an angle to work with. So that's what I do. I use a board when I'm not actually filming. I can't do it when I'm filming because the overhead camera distorts the picture, as you've seen there. You see how it's distorting it because it's coming at an angle. Okay, well, I think that's probably covered it all now. Well, I think that would have answered a lot of questions. If there are any more that I haven't covered, please feel free to carry on emailing me, and I'll do my best to answer you. One other thing I'd like to mention at the tail end of this clip is that we are starting a new website and a new YouTube site as well, called Watercolour Made Easy, which is where I go back to my roots and I show you how I started off and the kind of techniques that I use with watercolour. They're different to something you've ever seen before, so it might be worth a look. We hope to be up and running sometime in the new year, maybe February, early February, something like that. So watch out for it. But we'll keep you posted if you keep visiting my website. We'll be keeping you up to date. And of course on Twitter. All my Twitter customers now know all about this already. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.